Hello and welcome. Today's content will be covering Artisan Contractors. We're going to go over a brief introduction about Griffin Underwriting Services, otherwise known as GUS. We'll touch on some of our top appetite, product overview, common exposures, common exclusions, our inland marine products, contractors' professional liability, and surety bonds. I'll end with a slide with contact information should you have any questions at a later date or need help in any way. So Griffin Underwriting was founded in 1928. We still are family owned and operated by the Griffin family. We were one of the first surplus lines brokers in our region to be granted binding authority by Lloyd's of London. That's something we're very proud of. We have just over 100 employees in the Pacific Northwest throughout 3 different offices, and we can offer personal lines, commercial lines, transportation, and brokerage insurance solutions. We've written over $95 million year to date, and we are licensed in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia, so that allows us to work with agents nationwide. Here's just a brief list of our top appetite. This by no means is meant to be a comprehensive list. So if you don't see what you're looking for on this list, that does not mean that we cannot do it. This is just what we see quite often in this particular class of business. Chimney cleaning, drywall, framing, insulation, roofing, remodeling, siding, landscapers, masonry, metalwork. The list goes on and on. As I said, if you don't see the particular type of risk that you're looking for on this list, please don't assume that we can't help you. This is just what we see often. Some things that we do not cover or are limitations: we do not offer workman's comp. We do not offer that in any state. We cannot offer performance or bid bonds. And we do have limited capability in the commercial auto. We do offer that in only a couple of different states in the Pacific Northwest. However, we can write fleets with, I think it's actually 11 or more power units, so a fleet. If you have any questions or unsure about what our capabilities are, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. When we're talking about artisan contractors, it's typically with GL limits up to $5 million per occurrence and a $5 million aggregate. We do have in-house binding authority for up to $1 million with a $2 million aggregate. Per project aggregate limits are also available. We can offer medical payments up to $5,000 and available coverage options. We can offer AIs or additional insureds. We can offer that in a blanket or individual coverage when required by contract permits for ongoing operations and completed ops and lessors risks. We also can offer a waiver of subrogation. This can be blanket coverage included per prior written agreement. We do offer property and crime coverage, and then excess liability limits we can offer up to $25 million. Now keep in mind, not all products are available in all states for all risks, but this is just a general overview of what our capabilities are. When we're talking about common exposures for commercial general liability for those artisan contractors, premises, operations, products, completed ops, as well as contractual liability. So examples for each: premises, wet stairs at a plumber's office causes a patron to slip and fall, causing bodily injury. When we're talking about operations, a plumber accidentally knocks heavy pipe off a 10th floor balcony, causing bodily injury and quite possibly property damage. For products, this poor same plumber installs proprietary pump. The pump was actually faulty and it starts a fire, resulting in BI and PD. Completed operations. Our poor Mr. Plumber, he completed the job though finally, but then months later found a faulty seal, causing the pipe to leak, the ceiling to get wet, and the ceiling to collapse. And then finally, contractual liability. The plumber, who's contractually required to pay for an attorney if the building owner was sued by a third party. So subsequently, the pedestrian was struck by the falling pipes and files that lawsuit. That's what that means. Some common exclusions for the CGL: continuous and progressive damages exclusion. So this is when it's listed, applies to the BI and PD covered over multiple policy periods to protect the carrier from defending suits that occurred under other insurance policies. We also have a classification limitation. When this is listed on the declarations page, it only covers the insured's operations listed under the business description of Schedule of Hazards. So an example would be you've got a contractor or a plumber and he's doing side work on his own. He's not going to be covered for that side work. Prior exclusion. So when this is listed, it will not cover any work completed prior to the policy inception, even if the BI and PD occurred during the policy period. And then others include professional liability, condo townhome, tract, injury to subs, employer's liability, and punitive damages. A lot of these can be covered either under a different policy or sometimes it can be endorsed back on. When we're talking about certificates and additional insureds, otherwise known as AI, the certificate of insurance, this lists the name insured, address, coverages, limits, and AIs. It is required to renew contractor's license with the state and required to start working on any project. When we're talking about additional insureds, persons or organizations other than the name insured protected by the terms of the policy. So this could be the building owner, a lessee, a general contractor, etc. And then we've got special wording. This can be primary, non-contributory. This assigns the artisan policy as the primary and additional insurance policy as excess in the event of a BI or PD. There's also waiver of subrogation. This allows the insurer to waive its subrogation rights. Okay, switching gears, when we're talking about our inland marine product, we have an installation floater. So this covers supplies and materials used to complete a specified job. There needs to be a form, territory, and then coverages. So the form, projected specific, scheduled location, there could be a blanket location. When we're talking about territory, supplies and materials that are either on-site, in transit, or in storage at a temporary location. The coverage does end when the artisan's portion of the project is completed. So a reason to talk to your insureds about purchasing this type of coverage, if the coverage for artisan is excluded on the builder's risk policy, maybe the builder's risk deductible exceeds the value of the artisan's materials. This also provides first-party coverage for the artisan. When we're talking about an equipment floater, the coverage this covers the loss or damage to the name insured's business tools and equipment. Here's something to note: theft coverage is pretty difficult to add. Most carriers will exclude theft. Just hammers, screwdrivers, small handheld drills, things like that. Those are very hard to keep track of. Blanket form is common for hand tools. There is schedule list is common for larger equipment. This also covers non-owned and newly acquired tools and equipment that has a specified limit for 30 days. Some required information: we need the description of the equipment, the manufacturer, and the serial number. We also need the limits of insurance, the deductibles, loss runs, and protection of the equipment. So we're going to ask some of those details on the application. When we're talking about professional liability, there is contractor professional liability. It provides protection for claims from third parties for faulty professional services. So think advice or design. It's typically written on a claims-made form. The defense is typically within the limits, and we do offer higher deductibles. Coverage extends to bodily injury, property damage, if this is excluded on the GL policy, as well as pure economic loss. So settlements are typically include monetary judgment for increased costs associated with construction delays, design remediation, or reconstruction. In order for this policy to kick in, the insured must be legally obligated to pay. And we do offer per claim and aggregate limits, $1 million with an aggregate of $2 million. Higher limits typically are available in our brokerage department. Surety bonds. I have yet to meet a contractor who did not have the requirement of obtaining some sort of bond. Please note, we do not write performance or bid bonds, but generally speaking, the purpose of a bond is it pre-qualifies the contractor based on their financial and ethical strengths. The insurance contractor finishes on time and according to the contract specs. It basically keeps the contractors in line. It's a promise saying, I am going to fulfill what I said I would do. Bond amounts, they can vary state by state. An example I give here is in Washington State, there's an artisan contractor for $6,000 and a general contractor for $12,000. So when your insured is asking you to quote a bond for them, the first two questions you're going to ask is what is the name of the bond and how much are you being required to obtain. By telling us those two bits of information, we can get you the proper application so that we can get you a quote. Speaking of quotes, all applications and, well, pretty much all of our applications and supplementals can be found on our website, www.gogus.com. When you're wanting to get a quote for this particular type of risk, we need those completed applications. We also need a copy of loss runs and any supplemental application. If you're not sure if a supplemental is needed or you're not sure which one, please do reach out to us. We can get you those proper applications. If you would like to get commercial property included in your quote, we do need the Accord 140 along with the 125 and 126. You're going to submit everything to submissions@gogus.com. That goes directly to our processing department. They'll get it input into the system, send you notification with a submission number. Our underwriters will work on your quote and contact you directly. If you have any questions or need any assistance at any time, please do reach out to us. For those Allstate agents, you can email us at csr@gogus.com or call us at 844-859-1766. For those non-Allstate or independent agents, info@gogus.com, or you can call 800-562-8095. Again, my name is Carly. I'm the marketing representative. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to go through this tutorial with me. If you have anything that we can help you with, please do reach out to us. We want to say thank you for working with us. We appreciate it so much, and we look forward to doing more business with you in the future. Have a great day.